Time now to take a look at today's top news stories with Nick Ferrari and Camilla Tominey.
Good morning, both.
Good morning. Can we start off by talking about the Middle East? It feels as though it's not changing by the hour, but almost by the minute.
I think that's right.
What's happening?
Well, we thought, unfortunately, it's not a ceasefire. It was really a pause fire, to be in all honesty. US President Donald Trump put out on his own social media platform, the ceasefire is in place. Please do not violate it. That sadly lasted, it would believe now, for about 2 hours. That's when we started getting reports that Iran was firing missiles into Israel. It was meant that all parties would cease. Now, within the last minutes, as I was just coming up the stairs to meet with Camilla, it's now reported that Israel will go ahead and launch counter-strikes into Tehran. So it was very fragile. One wondered how long it would hold. I think all of us hoped it would be more than about 4 hours. But sadly, we're going backwards pretty fast now.
Yeah.
I think Ed Davies called on Keir Starmer to come before Parliament to answer some questions, Camilla, on what exactly is our position in this.
It's unclear, and I said to Nick, because Nick interviewed Luke Pollard, the Armed Forces Minister, yesterday on his show, and he was prevaricating a great deal. I think you asked him 7 times, does the UK support the US in this? Because when Keir Starmer issued a statement on Sunday morning, after the strikes had taken place overnight, yes, he condemned Iran, but he didn't really show any full-throated support of Donald Trump, despite the fact that we later found out that the UK was the only other country consulted before the strikes took place. David Lammy appeared in the House of Commons yesterday. Again, one of my colleagues, Tim Stanley, on The Telegraph, said he spoke for 90 minutes and didn't say very much at all. Where does the UK stand when it comes to supporting our American ally with regard to these strikes? Because I'm confused. Have you got any clarity on that?
No, and I think this is a bit embarrassing for Sir Keir, because we like to think that we have the closest possible relationship with the United States, and I think we do. France also thinks they're their best ally, as does Ireland. But anyway, we are close allies. You're normally with your allies when they need it, and I find it very strange. We still don't know, and it's the question that Camilla writes: do we support or do we oppose? Pat McFadden, the Cabinet Minister, wouldn't answer it today. David Lammy didn't answer in the House, the Armed Forces Minister. It's an extraordinary position in which you find yourself. But remember, as recently as a week ago, Sir Keir, who was dining alongside Trump at the Rockies at that conference, Sir Keir said, there's no way he's going into Tehran. The Prime Minister is in a difficult position, but this is what leadership... To your point about Ed Davey... Sorry, it's Paul like that to politicians. To your point about Ed Davey, this is what they come into politics to do. We're looking for a leadership here, and we don't know where the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom stands.
Problematically for Starmer as well, with Reform nipping at his heels, a poll by Ipsos at the weekend put Reform on 34%, Tories down to 15, Labour on 25. Nigel Farage came out, I mean, as one would imagine, but very clearly and unequivocally in support of what Donald Trump had done. To be fair, Kemi Badenoch, the opposition leader, again, written a piece for us and others saying, I absolutely squarely stand behind this. And yet Starmer is fence-sitting, which does show a degree of weakness.
But then you can do both. You can say, I want to move to a de-escalation, but I understand why the President took the action, and let's hope this gets everyone round the table. It's not impossible to find a form of words here, but we hear nothing. But he, of course, is with your colleagues. He's at the NATO. I'm sure the Telegraph is there. He will get a lot of pressure. He'll get a lot of pressure.
I wonder if that will change then. Let's turn our thoughts to the memorial for the late Queen, Camilla. There was a sort of a number of options that the public could vote on.
And that's the late Queen, comma, Camilla, not the late Queen. Before anybody... the late Queen, comma, Camilla.
But we have a winner.
I know, we have a winner in a translucent Unity bridge, which is going to be inspired by the Queen Mary fringe diamond tiara that Princess Elizabeth wore on her wedding day to Prince Philip in 1947. Now, that actually does look stunning. Beautiful. This is in St James's Park, which obviously is directly in front of Buckingham Palace. She's synonymous with that park for very obvious reasons, as is her late husband. It's been designed by Foster and Partners. Now, Lord Foster, this is interesting, did have a falling out back in the day with King Charles because he disagreed with King Charles architecturally about a redevelopment of the Chelsea Barracks in London. And so it does show a degree of magnanimity that this particular design has been chosen by the royal family. Obviously, they buried that hatchet. And it's going to be this bridge. It's going to be a sculpture of the Queen on horseback.
Which looks stunning, right?
Absolutely.
I know it's all AI'd at the minute, but the idea of the Queen being on a horse feels very appropriate.
But this is what I also like, another sculpture of the Queen and Prince Philip strolling through the park in some capacity, which I think will also be enjoyed by the public, because at the end of the day, I don't think you can memorialise the Queen without having Philip by her side.
No.
And some corgis?
It's based on a tiara. right?
Yeah, so it's like meant to glisten and look crystal like the tiara.
Right.
So, yeah, this is the tiara that she wore, obviously one of the happiest days of her life in 1947 and that long-enduring marriage. She wore it subsequently to that at many different state occasions.
Yeah.
So it's probably the piece of jewellery with which she is most synonymous. And, I mean, it looks great. Quite a lot of money's being spent. So we think...
46.
Could be up to, somewhere between 20, 30... £40 million. Come on, she's the money. I don't begrudge a cent of that. No. Lord Foster, 90 now. Yep. Foster and Partners. For some of your viewers now, if you're trying to think of some of his other work, the Gherkin skyscraper here in London, the Millennium Bridge, which was the one that had a...
Bit wobbly.
The wibbly-wobbly bridge.
Do we hope they've worked out how to stop that?
They hopefully have, haven't they?
Well, hopefully, we won't want that for Her Majesty. The Reichstag in Berlin, the Great Court at the British Museum, and it says here Ben Shepherd's Riverside Properties.
Yeah, wow.
He won the contract as well.
Gosh, if only.
Nick Ferrari's conservatory. Amazing.
And it's beautiful. 5, yes, there were 5 shortlisted, and Lord Foster and Partners, I should say, have come through.
Lovely. Just quickly, before we go to the break, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Italian wedding festivities in Venice appear to be underway, but the locals are still protesting.
It's the second most anticipated wedding.
Sorry.
It's the second most. It's like the precursor.
Are you taking some tips from Bezos and co?
No, his money. I'll take his money, not his tips.
Look, I'm all for a little bit of fun, and we all like 3-day festivities at the end of the day, not least when we're invited to them. But the foam party.
The foam party.
They're grown adults.
You're dead right, I'm not.
Don't you think this is a little bit infantile?
No, I
and
think it's
slightly
wonderful.
embarrassing.
It looks slightly lonely more than anything else. Those are not like the foam parties I used to go to.
I'd much rather there was only 2 people in the phone parties I went to. Crikey, you didn't know what you were getting up to. But there's a bit of protest as well.
Anti-capitalist types that don't like him because he's a billionaire who, by the way, employs hundreds of thousands of people are trying to disrupt things.
Well, we're talking costs. It could be anywhere up to $21.5 million. So what should we say, 18 million pounds?
Almost as much as you're spending.
Oh, yes, that's right. There are suggestions that he explores all legitimate tax efficiencies, so there's a lot of anger about that.
I can't wait to see the photos.
The photos, especially if the foam's going with them as well.
Exactly.
On the amazing.
A study has found that the average young person spends 5.5 hours on their phone a day. Camilla, that's 25 years of their life.
I think I quoted 22 years on this show a couple of weeks ago, and it's now gone up. Because if you add up the screen time, that's true, right? I mean, we can all check our own screen time. If it's 4 or 5 hours... I mean, some of that, I think, is obviously work.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's depressing. It's such a depressing figure.
It's so depressing.
Well, it depends what they're using it for. I mean, and it's not all going to, but if some of it is for educative purposes, we should celebrate that.
Yes.
But if a lot of it is just, you know, I can't believe what Ben said about you or I said about that. I mean, just message. I mean, that really is disturbing.
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling. I mean, what do you do? What's your average day? Do you even know?
I don't know, I'll tell you.
I don't do that.
I'm rather 28 minutes.
Screen time.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Is that because you've got other people to do it all for
he's
you?
on air.
He's marching around Leicester Square going, tell me what that is. Tell me what that is.
My daily average is 3 hours 33.
OK.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad considering quite a lot of your work is through that.
Yeah, but this is a very good advert, by the way, for a total ban on phones in schools.
Yeah.
At least insulate that 8:30 till 3:15 period and not have any screen use at all, barring ed tech, obviously, because they are on Chromebooks and stuff.
Well, it's that statistic that you quote all the time. 68% of people believe that academic performance is affected by their smartphone use.
It definitely is. All of the studies suggest that.
Yeah.
You know, the other killer stat in this is that the majority of youngsters want to use the phones less.
Yeah.
They just can't find that they
It's an addiction.
can.
It's an addiction.
And we know it's an addiction. We're able to probably self-regulate a little bit more, and still we're on them all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, interestingly, our next story is about not using the phones in the right way. Gen Z are, according to a new poll, snubbing their grandparents, Nick, because they don't know what to chat about.
Yeah, this is a survey done from Bingo Association. A quarter of 18 to 34-year-olds talk to their grandparents less than once a month, according to the survey. And there we have the sort of the block that might be experienced in many, many homes. 21% of over 55 say they avoid talking to Gen Z as they fear they'll seem out of touch. I want to come at this from the other perspective, which is the grandparents.
Yeah.
Because in many instances, not all, they're going to be quite lonely individuals. They may well be living on her own, living on his own, whatever. The joy they get, obviously they get the joy from their children, but the joy from getting young people, I cannot stress how great it is to have young people around you when you reach a certain age. My production team, as Camilla knows, my production team, in some instances, it's like their second job. They're all in their early 20s. They have such a positive view on life. It is a positive delight to be around because they just see great opportunities. Yeah. They just see great fun ahead. They're not sitting there saying we're all doomed. And I think, and I'm lucky I go to an office every day of the week. Think of someone, granddad, grandma, sitting there, never seeing the grandchildren. I just want to look at it through their eyes for a minute. And if anyone's watching now, why don't you just call your grandma, call your just have a chat? They will be so delighted to spend time with you.
I thought it was quite interesting, Camilla, that the worry is they would be awkward silences. I don't know which grandparents wouldn't mind even just sitting in silence next to their grandchild.
But also, I mean, I'm sorry, but we must be bringing up our children to be able to converse with the elderly. I mean, this is insane. I was watching...
I am available. I am available.
You're available. You can be the test case.
My screen time will go up, but I am available for anyone.
I mean, you know, only last night, my youngest, who's 11, was speaking to Grandad on the phone, telling him all about some cheese scones she'd made in home ec. I mean, we didn't eat them, but that's by the by. And he's completely tuned in with everything that they're doing. You've got to make the effort either side. But, I mean, I just wouldn't find it acceptable for my children to sort of, like, have uncomfortable silences with anybody in person or on the blur.
I've sadly lost all of my grandparents at a very young age. So from the age of about 12, I didn't have grandparents.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think that Sam and Jack have got such a brilliant relationship with all of their grandparents. And I love the fact they've been through them. And my dad even turned around and said he did more, because it was a different time, I guess, when the 70s were brought up. He's done more parenting to our kids than he ever did to us.
He has time as well, Ben.
Exactly.
Because he had to go out and earn a crust to pay for everything.
All that sort of stuff.
And also it keeps them young too. It feeds them too. It's brilliant. Talking of staying young... There's a
And feeding? No?
No, not quite.
OK.
There's 102-year-old Gwyneth Griffiths in a nursing home. She requested one thing for her birthday this year. Oh, you're right, feeding, actually.
Yeah,
yes,
there you go, look.
A stripper, and they delivered with the staff organising a butler in the buff. Is he saying no photos? No photos, I want my privacy.
My goodness me. Well, if at the age of 102 you cannot request a naked man to parade around your own care home living room, then I'm sorry, but what can you request? Amazing.
Is he actually feeding her the cake as well? I love that.
They've certainly found something to talk about, haven't they? So, I mean, there's no lack of conversation between those two. Good luck to them.
I like this from her son.
Yes.
Gwyneth's son Peter said that she was very quiet and mild-mannered. She wouldn't say boo to a goose. She always gave me a row about how much I swore. She wouldn't even say the word beginning with B, ending in uddy. And now it seems that she has changed her characteristics. It's because she's got older. She is suffering from dementia, but she, to be fair, has... got a very sunny disposition and just wants to be entertained and have fellow guests at the care home be entertained by that butler in the buff.
She's living her best life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking forward to her 103rd birthday because I am ready to go down there. If that's what she... No, I'm not really.
Well, if you're not ready to go down, we could send this lot down. Remember we sent them to Alison, the Magic Mike lot? We sent those guys down.
Yes. In the back garden.
There they are. In the back garden.
To be fair,
do you think Gwyneth could handle all of those guys, or do you think
I'm not sure Alison's let them go yet.
She did lock the back door.
They're still in the hot tub. Few better ways to celebrate.
I have never in my life seen anyone thoroughly enjoy a performance quite as much as she did with that one. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Thank you both for joining us.
Great
to see you. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.